Oh, what's up guys? Jared from Avalanche Reviews here, and I was just about to sit down to one of my favorite Japanese role-playing games. But you know what occurs to me, these little bundles of quirkiness can be good for more than just filling up my free time. I mean, for some of us, this could be a window into a culture we may never see. So it sucks to see modern JRPGs being censored by their own developers. So you know, I think it's about time we had a discussion about censorship, localization, and these. Role-playing games have long been a respected art form in the land of the rising sun, and ever since the release of the precursor to the modern JRPG, Dragon Quest, we Westerners have been able to catch a glimpse at a culture that couldn't be further from our own. Sure, we're playing a game about a group of teenagers saving the world on a planet that may not even be Earth most of the time, but the quirks and subtleties of Japanese culture always find a way to shine through. And this is precisely why so many of us are sad to see the amount of changes and self-censorship being seen in so many modern Japanese role-playing games. But the real question is why? Why would an artist choose to have their work altered, and why would a company want their products being tampered with? While the answer may vary depending on where you get it from, the root cause is often the same. America has become a culture of outrage, and nowhere is this more evident than right here in gaming. It seems like no matter where in the gaming scene you look, you're bound to see a petition or protest brought on by what a very small minority deem to be offensive. While this is still a huge problem for gamers everywhere, we RPG fans with our niche genre have spent much of our time in the proverbial eye of the storm. It seemed for a time that we were just out of reach from the long arm of the outrage machine, but that is no longer the case. Our RPGs aren't safe anymore, and this is becoming more and more obvious as the days go by. Fire Emblem Fates seems to be getting the brunt of the attention lately, with the outright removal of some of its key features. Yes, as crappy as it sounds, American gamers will be getting an incomplete experience when compared to the original Japanese release. So why is Nintendo taking an axe to their own products? Well, Fates has a minigame where you can lovingly caress characters in order to increase their feelings for you. So let's check that out. Yeah, we're clearly dealing with an affront to Western decency here. But this is Nintendo, a company well known for self-censorship here in America, so let's focus on another Japanese RPG company, Square Enix. When interviewed about the upcoming Final Fantasy VII HD remake, producer Toshinori Kitase said that he would have to be careful about implementing certain scenes like the Honeybee Inn. Now for those of you who never made it inside this place, which I would wager is a lot since it's sort of hard to do, the Honeybee Inn is a brothel in Wall Market where the player can initiate an event that leads to a group of men bathing with Cloud. Of course the camera pans up and nothing sexual is shown, but Kitase believes that the scene needs to be altered due to time and social situation. Of course, things are left pretty vague here, but the intent can be applied to almost every case of modern RPG self-censorship. These companies fear the backlash of a group who largely don't even participate in gaming, past organizing protests and bans on games that don't validate their own moral hang-ups. And now that this group has made the Western gaming market into such an unattractive place, they're doubling down in support of game censorship.
Therapy, which
Yeah,
is not
no,
cool.
totally.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Which is a hoax.
Yes. So this seems like it's out for good reasons, and yet there is some outcry of censorship. For you kids, this is self-censorship because Nintendo is ultimately doing this themselves. They're not being asked by anyone to change this.
Yeah.
Right.
Now this is a pretty commonly held opinion among games journalists right now. Apparently these acts of censorship are just the result of good localization, which would explain a lot, if it weren't completely false. During localization, you would expect to see something like a can of Boss coffee being turned into a Monster energy drink maybe. It makes sense that a Japanese game would reference things that are common in its country of origin that may be largely unknown elsewhere. In this sense, localization can be a very good thing, but I think we can all agree that the wholesale removal of certain parts of a game falls way outside of simple localization. But let's just for a second assume that Kate Gray over at Tech Radar and all of her journalist friends are right. Let's say these are all just tiny bumps on the road to localization, that Square, Nintendo, and Capcom are all just appealing to our American sensibilities. Does that make it okay? I think we all remember the shitstorm that landed when Nintendo localized gay marriage out of the American release of Tomodachi Life. Would it be okay to argue that they were just making the game more Western? No, of course not. But ironically, these same people who raved against the removal of something they liked now find themselves jumping through hoops to defend these companies for doing the same exact thing. And situations like this are exactly how we expose what's really going on here. Games media is made up largely of easily offended, ideological supremacists, the kind of people who believe that we shouldn't be able to enjoy anything that they don't like themselves. But the good news is, this is an old model that's slowly going the way of the buffalo. Most gamers nowadays are much happier getting their news from smaller, independent sources, just like here at Censored Gaming. But sadly, the damage has already been done. There is, however, something we can do. Call out censorship when you see it. Write to developers and share your anger with your fellow gamers. Raise your voice and let it be known that being offended is no longer an argument, because it really doesn't matter if it's gay marriage, a steamy bath scene, or a ridiculous head-petting simulation. In the end, censorship of an artistic vision is wrong, regardless of what word you use to describe it. Hey guys, thanks for checking out Censored Gaming, the best source for censorship in games. I'm Jared from Avalanche Reviews, and if you like what you saw here today, come over to my channel to check out more opinion pieces and some of the best games you've never heard of.